where we have you so that you can share your experience. Just to go ahead with. So, can you just give a brief intro about yourself? How your journey has been through, how you began and how you moved to the AI data analyst, this domain, and currently you're working as a data engineer. That's quite interesting profile you have. Yeah, Jithin.
So I'll begin with where finish my graduation. So I'm actually finished I'm a BTech graduate with a mechanical engineering background. So the first years as everyone I tried some internships, worked with Bosch, Yamaha, all those companies in India itself. All those companies were great, had a good experience, but I was missing something. I was missing my calling. I don't know why. So I was mostly interested in staying on a computer, fixing up the websites, finding out the details, the potholes in the data. So why not in the time? I thought yeah, why not I jump back into actual computer science? I just know what data is. I don't know how to wrangle it, all those kind of things. So I jumped with DataMites. So DataMites helped me to my baby steps in Python happened with DataMites. So I remember I forgot his name. I think I forgot. Yeah, these early days I had a very good experience. So how Python has to be learned, how to use Python, the baby basic steps of Python, all those libraries, everything, and how to use all those Kaggle data networks, how to connect with everyone. All those things happened while the pandemic was still enraging. Then we moved on from having an internship with Rubix for the last 6 months with the DataMites. Then I had okay, I want to pursue further, moved to UK with masters in computer science, got placed in a company called FieldBay. So I was just a data entry, then moved on to their actual implementation of a software called Nourish. So that's my getting entry point into the world of data. All those big data dumps was happening with multiple clients, using it to getting insights, data visualizations, putting out reports, reporting data errors, all those can happen. So at the end of 2023, 4, I remember getting into Deloitte. So that's my big jump into Big Four. So in Deloitte, I joined as a data analyst. So that's actual ETL process, like extraction, transformation, loading into the data, mapping, bigger SQL transformations, working with teams all across the world. Had a very good learning experience. So, but while working with Deloitte, I found that my field, scope, is bit limited due to my analyst position because I'm just working with the data that's provided to me. I'm not working on the pipeline. Data pipelines are just happening before me and after me. There's a bigger part happening before and after me. I'm not working with them or working after the data. I'm getting the data, getting insights, pushing the data, cleaning up the data, all those things. So I'm doing. So within Deloitte, I got trained into PySpark, Cortex Pies, all those data, Azure Databricks, some of our AWS, Lambda functions, all those kind of things. So Deloitte, all people might have noticed that there was a bigger change in UK's immigration system happening earlier this year. So I was also affected with that. Deloitte was not matched the salary that was required for the immigration system change, actual visa change. So I was offered a job back in India with Deloitte itself. And yeah, I took the job, but still doing the analyst job. And just last month, I joined Nagarro as a data engineer with Databricks, SQL. And the bigger part was as everybody is looking up the data, they miss upon the whole picture. The whole picture is data governance. So, who has the data? Who has access to the data? Who is working on it? What is being done to the data? Everyone is working on the data, but the bigger picture is you are answerable for the data you're working on. So I thought, yeah, I am looking to grow my expertise into that field, get trained on those softwares, learn about those, and that helped me to land a data engineer job with Nagarro. Yeah, it's like my baby, like first days with Nagarro now. The harder days are still coming. So that's it from me.
Yeah, it's a quite interesting journey. Yeah. So we can see that you have worked as a data analyst and also now currently data engineer. Like coming few questions about data analyst job. Like what are the tools you have used? We have like audience of students who want to get into data analyst roles. Like what do you suggest them? What are the tools which will help them get in, and what kind of projects, of course, would kind of leverage their will look good on their resumes on the data analyst side. Then I'll come to the data engineering questions.
So as a data analyst, I think the question is bit. I'll split the question into two parts.
Sure.
What you focus on, what projects you should do. So the projects, like you focus on your tools like Power BI, Tableau, Excel. Excel is a very big part. So the Excel part with you are working with the functions in Excel, which has like lot of like a billion functions. You say that we have moved on from Excel, but most of the corporate world is still stuck on Excel. Like all their day-to-day tasks, everything is just feed it to Excel. Like most tasks are just like automation from Excel itself, the CSV format, XLX format, whatever it is, like it's just based upon Excel. Even Power BI, Microsoft tools like Power BI, Tableau, everything based upon Excel. So I would say like focus more on like first step on Excel, learn the functions, learn the pivot tables. All those things has a deeper importance than we actually know of. And the projects like how do you showcase like put up your work on as a portfolio with Power BI. You have done a project on for an example, bicycle sales of like an year from 2022 to 2025. You have 3 year bike sales that you can compare it. But the dashboard should more like you define your questions first, then answer them because I have seen dashboards. Even I have made the same mistake of creating a dashboard first, then I try to answer the question. But the first thing is like try to find the question, then they'll create the dashboard as such. Because most dashboards need only like 6 or 5 representation that to answer this. So it's a learn what, do what thing, but learn as much as you can. Try it. You will have difficulties, but mostly trying is better than just looking at it.
Yeah. So let me ask you, like, more interested in this part, especially the data engineering part. And I don't know when you had done data science, there was whether there was a data engineering course or not. I think it was started around 2022, 23. Like, I'm not aware at that point of time. Now we at DataMites we also teach data engineering course. Okay, so, like, I'm curious to know what currently, of course, PySpark is there, AWS, Azure, Synapse. You have like a bunch of tools. Like, you have so many tools. Like, so we have a
Yeah.
lot of data engineering students. They want to the aspirants. They want to learn data engineering. Senior folks also, like not only freshers. We do get a lot of senior folks, and they are like, there are so many tools basically. But from your point of view and from your whatever you have exposure to, what do you suggest to them, especially on the tools? Like it's a whole world of tools, like a lot of tools here.
The data engineering world is like a very big, like even if I joined that like as a data engineer, my track is like data governance, mostly with that metadata, all those kind of
Hmm.
behind the scenes thing. Like most people would work on the data, but nobody like pays attention to what happens behind it. So I'm mainly focused upon that. But as a general picture, Azure or AWS has a it's like a big box of jungle like jumbled things. You put your hand and you grab one. It's very important. So you all of us have worked on like collab notebooks, right? So if you look at into a Azure world, it's a Databricks. It's separate Databricks thing that's inbuilt into Azure. So working around that, like Even in my interviews, it just they ask me like, how do I connect Databricks into my Azure uh, data lake, because where the data resides and how you work with the data, that's two different things. See, like on a same screen, you have two different icons that's totally doesn't talk to each other. So how do we make to talk to them each other? That was my question. So the coding, like in the current situations, like everything has inbuilt AI into it. Even Databricks has it, Collab has it, everything has that like into it, but the logic behind it. So debugging won't give you the what's that? This line has an error, and you can copy it, paste it somewhere. It will not give you the error. But for you, you don't know anything. Why this happened? Because the next time you are going to run it, it's the same thing. Will you going to repeat it on a bigger pipeline? You will still have that error. That's gonna cause an error. And if this happens again and again and again, your workflow is damaged. So basically, your Python, like basic Python object oriented programming, define your class properly, define your function properly, test it. Uh, like what was it? If you copy paste from Copilot, you say that I want a function to this. Your parameters are different when you have defined a whole workflow based upon that. So learn your basics properly. Just forget about AI for a minute. Learn this. There's something different with the current world of AI. With you don't know the some most people won't know the basics. They know the coding. They know how you just give you a question. They will write out the program for you. But the basic simple steps is maybe enough for some things. So I'd say basic Python, then go from Colab, then go to Databricks, then work with the Azures, all the other things. Play with it. And I would say that the current trends are evolving into a Power Fabric thing. So that's very important as well. So learn from like every day it's evolving. Yesterday I had a meeting with all of my global employers, like global people. They were saying that these agents like Microsoft or Copilot, Gemini, they all are just showing you what they are capable of, like 10% of what they're capable of. These companies are utilizing 30%, but they are investing into it to get the another 50% back from it. So it's a ever growing world. It's gonna get better. Sometimes it's gonna fall off. But even if they fall off, you should have been like, you know the basics. You are still relevant. That's the thing I wanted to be, because you have the AI, you have you, but you have to be relevant in the world. If you get what I mean.
Yeah, I do understand, you, because you have seen the pre GPT era and the post GPT era.
Yeah,
I hope I can understand what you are telling, because you have seen the both worlds around here. So
yeah.
definitely, yeah, with all the AI help, Copilot help, and of course your Databricks also have that debugging thing. So definitely I can relate to that. So yeah, you have cracked a data engineering interview. Like, I'm curious, what are the questions asked? Like, what are the technical part of that? If you're
So
comfortable, you can share. Yeah, sure.
yeah, the I'll share general like overview. It was breakdown into first part was a written exam, and weirdly it was just aptitude. Like it was testing your time ability. Even with the fastest AI, you have to copy paste, but you can't do that. You have 30 minutes for no more less than that. 15 minutes, 30 questions. It's just you, and they are just monitoring you. And nowadays, it's very strict with most testing of like softwares. It will like check your screen, check your audio, check your video. That part goes on first, like an aptitude. If you clear that, the next call will be from an SQL team member or something. So you have to be like your basics of SQL, joins, uh, window functions, unions. How do you use a union? What like why you are using where are you using having, all those kind of clauses. So SQL was one part. Then they moved on to Python. Then Python was like mainly into the logics. They didn't ask me about the syntax because they knew like if you are present with a problem with in the company, you are like inbuilt an AI into their system as well. So you have a logic, you put that out, you will still find an error, find the problem. You are solving it, but the logic behind that problem. So the simple case was like find mm, what was that? Like the case jumbling. If you had a word, you have to reverse the case for everyone. So it's a Python with a P capital. You have to lowercase the P, then use everything else. So that was one question. So we had a very good discussion on how my project was going on. Why did you like how did you use these things by libraries? So some libraries that are Cortex Pi libraries, PySpark libraries. So why are they different from the actual Pandas libraries? Those kind of questions was there. Like mostly it was like a friendly conversation happening. So then it came into my how data workflows, data breaks, data governance, how you use a software called Colibra into your actual workflows. Why is it different from Azure Unity? All those things uh, like a bigger high level overview of how data governance works. So how a business is using the data governance to apply their uh, business intelligence into it. Because the data validation, all those kind of data cleaning, if they can be applied to an earlier step of the data pipeline, it saves a lot of time because mostly you are capturing data that's like completely irrelevant for your business objective. But as a legacy system, you are still using that data as a backbone for your like it's just dumping into your server, using your space, using your processing time, processing power. If you have a system to that was like actual scenario that we were working on. So those kind of actual scenario based questions of how you optimize your workflow, how do you optimize your time, how do you optimize your work time. If you have a problem, what would you go back to, where is your fallback position, or like how do you create a checkpoints in between your workflow. If like access symbol point, I was taught in DataMites that if when you're working on a collab notebook, you just don't go from like actual pushing in the data to reading in the data, like duplicating every step. You are creating a new variable has a huge copy of your data. But when you're working with a terabyte of data or 100 gigabyte of data, you are clouding up the space. So you create a benchmark, like a checkpoint that you stop there. You create all your works there. You check your, then you create a point that yeah, it's better we have a copy of your file taken out from the system, like a virtual memory put into a drive or a cloud storage, then you copy it from there. So when you're working it again, you don't have to run all those things again. So those kind of scenarios was worked upon. Yeah, it really depends upon how your interviewer wants you to interact. And I would say take your time to answer the question. They are not looking for AA fasting, like a faster than AA solution. Stick, work with your steps. They don't want the actual answer. Like actual step by step breakdown of your thought process will help you better, I think.
Sure, sure. Yeah, yeah. Quite interesting. You have explained it very well. Like how like when you have small data, it's different. It's whenever it is a big data, definitely you need. It costs you compute definitely. Uh, right. Basically, they and all the companies want to save the cost and optimize their queries and all. So yeah, that's an interesting take on that. Yeah, and yeah, Thank you, Jithin. We have some questions from the participants. We have one question regarding that. The audience is asking, I'm a fresher from non-tech graduate. So, which will be the best start career for me? They are from non-tech. They want to ask you like whether data analytics would be better or data engineering would be better. One of the audience question from audience.
Like, I would say that it depends upon how you are confident with your tools, your Python, your SQL, like basic programming languages. If you can like work around your Python logic better, you are good for your data engineer. Then you work upon your Azure, Amazon, like certifications, GCP certifications if you want. But if you're a bit, how do I say? like, okay, I'm just not confident enough on my Python. I can work better on SQL, Excel, Power BI, because Power BI has a user interface which is very easy to navigate around. It's easier to learn. Then it's, I would say, data analyst, but it depends upon person to person. Like, it's not defined upon you have a tech background, you have a 10-year experience. I have worked with nurses, like in my last company. Deloitte was recruiting nurses into techs because they know how to run the code, but the reading into the data, they need subject expertise. So if you have learned business, or how do I say, anything that's relevant for the company, then it's much better how you place yourself onto the like radar. So write your resume accordingly to showcase your non-tech skills as well. So it gives you a much better angle into working upon.
You. Thank you, Jithin. Yeah. I think any more questions from the audience? Any questions from like because this is being streamed onto LinkedIn and YouTube. Any questions from any other questions from LinkedIn and YouTube? Okay. Yeah. It looks like there are no questions, Jithin. I thank you behalf of DataMites team for sharing
Yeah.
your experience, and definitely we want to like I want to and DataMites want to be connected with you so that you can also help us in
I
getting more
also have like
insights.
I got some to know some things from my like new company that they are also hiring people. So if you want go and check into Nagarro.com, there are fresher openings, there are experienced openings. So if you want any help, you can reach out to me in LinkedIn. Uh,
Sure, sure.
so
We have a Pat team. Pat team will definitely reach out to you, and of
so it
course
was
I
I
will
was
also
reached
reach
out.
out. Yeah. Yeah. Please go
I
ahead.
was
Yeah.
reached out to Deloitte, but getting into Deloitte is a different story than getting into, because
Mm.
Deloitte's referral program is bit how do I say, they are way huge for somebody to notice your referral, because they are like everything is coming into a single mailbox. So for you getting noticed in a mailbox of 10,000, 20,000 mails a day for a referral for a company size of 4 lakh, 6 lakh people, it's a bit difficult. But for now, I think you will get a feedback from like is it relevant, is it not relevant. Nagarro is like very, how do I say,
Res-
responsive for
Response.
everything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And we have a lot of candidates who are interested into data engineering, and definitely you can suggest us a few of the things which will, I mean to say, technologies or tools which will help them get into, I mean to say, Nagarro kind of companies.
I
Sure.
think yeah, like if you are like focus some like focus points are have to be like on to data governance part, because now data governance is a very big
Hmm.
part of the industry coming up on, because everyone has to answer to the government of how your data is being used, how the
Okay.
data is like the data lineages, where the data originated, how you are disposing the data, how long you are keeping the data. Because even from the like a simple Gmail,
Hmm.
our Gmail is a big storage. You are answerable for your Gmail's data, but for a company, they are answerable for everyone's mail IDs, because who are they sending the mail into? Like that's the simple lineage I can explain. So this data like governance part is very big now. So there are some softwares that Alison, Colibra, the Azure Unity Catalog. So there's some small things that you can learn, which will like open up big careers for you. That's a niche tools, because you are getting paid more because you know something that small part of the crowd knows.
Okay. Yeah, definitely. That's good feedback from your side. I'm very thankful to you that we will definitely implement these tools, and I thank you on the behalf of DataMice. Thank you,
Oh
Jithin.
no, no worries. Happy to help anytime.